It's Position Week across the Lone Star State. And tonight, there are huge district battles from the Rio Grande all the way up to the Oklahoma border. Tonight, we'll showcase the top-ranked teams in 4A, 3A, and 2A as they try to avoid some late-season upsets. And with DeSoto falling to Cedar Hill, Allen looking more beatable, who is the class of 6A? Plus, our DQ Big Game of the Week is the Capital City Rivalry War to settle the score. High School Scoreboard Live spins your way next. Game of the night, Steel Deal against Converse Judson in the Alamo City area. Judson down 22-17, 4th and 6. LG Williams gets it to Jalen Harris. Down to the Judson 1, 3rd and goal on the 1, 23 seconds to go. And Williams scores the two-point conversion. It's now 23-22 Steel. 16 seconds left, final play of the game. Julian Williams intercepted by the Steel's Malik Perez. And the Steel Deal comes back. They were down 19-7 at the half to Judson. What a win and what a happy locker room behind us. Welcome into Scoreboard Live. What a comeback by Cibolo Steel to basically win their district championship over Judson tonight. Whoa! It's a week before Halloween, and you're dressed up like Greg Tepper of Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, scaring the heck out of everybody. Actually, he's in for Craig Way, who clicked his sneakers and is in Kansas. We'll have him on the show later on the phone. Hard to believe 3 weeks, really, from this weekend, the by-district round of the playoffs begin.
Yeah, and you said it best in the open when you said that this is positioning week. Every game matters in district play. I don't care if you've already clinched a playoff spot. You can clinch that top seed. You can clinch maybe an easier first-round game. This is a big, big week for getting where you want to be in the playoffs.
We start with the #1 team in 4A and the best player in the classification. Navasota's quarterback sensation Shelton Epler lights up scoreboards like Christmas trees. He's thrown for 2,000 yards, 30 touchdowns. The Rattlers are outscoring people by an average of 63-7 a game. They won the title in 2012 and looking to add a state championship bling with an 8-0 start. Let's go to the Brazos Valley, where Navasota turned Houston fur into kitty cat fur balls. The Rattlers getting it done early on. Here off the kickoff, off the safety. Doesn't go very well for the Brahmas. And Trendavian Dixon will take it all the way back. The Rattlers are up 16-0, scoring early and often. First quarter here. Here's Shelton Epler, one of the best quarterbacks in that classification. Beautiful screen pass to Darian Randall, who will be the riddle of the Randall into the end zone, 32 yards. They're up 23-0. Then second quarter, Epler again hitting Brell Lipskin in stride, 45-yard touchdown. All Navasota, 85-0. The #1 team in the land starts 8-0.
Let's mosey on out east and check out Gilmer at Bullard. Panther fans excited for this one, but it was Gilmer that had control from the first whistle. And they are feeling good in Gilmer. Got to start with Nick Smith on the run. Deep ball is his. Touchdown, Gilmer. And they are celebrating in the stands. Meanwhile, Gilmer threatening again after a big run from Blake Lynch, setting up the DeMarco Boyd touchdown. I'm telling you, ever since Blake Lynch transferred from Troop, they've been a different team. Buckeyes in complete control. They go on to win 49-7.
All right, let's check out the top 10 in Class 4A. Stunner as LaGrange gets pushed by Giddings tonight. And what a showdown of quarterbacks at Big Spring. Texas Tech-bound Jarrett Stidham against Miami Dolphins quarterback's younger brother, Tobin Tannehill. Rough night for Stephenville. They were leading most of the game, but the Yellow Jackets lose, and they lose Stidham to an apparent hand injury. He was in a sling watching this game, most of it on the sideline.
Yeah, and that's not good news for Stephenville, but the worst news is the fact that they gave up 64 points. That's a good Big Spring offense, but you can't give up 64 points and win. Well, throw a rock at a wasp's nest, and you're going to get stung. It's your fault. But what if someone else throws a rock, and you just happen to be walking by at on the wrong time? You're going to get stung, and it's not your fault. It's the other guy's fault. Well, if you're Coppell, they walk by a wasp's nest that is Euless Trinity. Yeah, South Lake Carroll chucked the rock last week, and the Cowboys are feeling the sting. They take on Euless Trinity tonight, and things did not go well for the Cowboys. Coppell taking on Trinity first quarter. It's running back Tyler Nady on the keeper, the quarterback rather. He will shake and bake and plow his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Trinity. Coppell looking to respond. Quarterback Skylar Bonneau rolls out and hits Brandon Rice on a nice little screen pass. He will get into the end zone. Touchdown, Cowboys. But just too much Trinity as Marcus McCray takes the reverse, makes a few defenders miss, and watch this speed. Zoom! Touchdown into the end zone. All Trinity in this one. They win big, 33-10. Big win for Trinity. You gotta love the way that they continue to run the ball, and that defense, they played angry tonight.
Let's move on to San Antonio. Northside's Brandeis puts their unbeaten record on the line against O'Connor. And that's quarterback Paul Lozano with the bomb to Peyton Hall. Put him in the Hall of Fame. He does the rest, takes it into the end zone. Touchdown, Broncos. And when they get going, you're in trouble. Then O'Connor looking to respond. Quarterback Clayton Maxwell does well, drops back, but intercepted by Jonathan Robinson, who will take it to the house, the pick six, as Brandeis goes on to win it 42-3. Meanwhile, in the top 10 of 6A, Allen improves to 8-0 before their big showdown with Plano West. Kyler Murray against Soso Jamambo. Defending state champ Cedar Hill stuns DeSoto at their place. They storm the field. First win over the Eagles in 5 years. DeMarcus Lodge, 235 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns on Thursday night. And Southern Cal-bound Aka Cedric Ware, 4 touchdowns. Joey McGuire, he knows how to get his boys up for the biggest games.
Yeah, they absolutely do. You never have to worry about them showing up when the spotlight is the brightest. Big, big win for Cedar Hill.
And we'll hear from Joey in just a moment. Time now for the man in the know in the Metroplex. Corbett Smith of the Dallas Morning News. Corbett, with DeSoto's loss, Skyline and South Lake Carroll still unbeaten, along with Allen. Cedar Hill ready to strike at the right time. Who is the best team in the Metroplex?
Well, I think you've got to say who's the best one-loss team in the Metroplex, because there's really 2 teams that are, I think, head and shoulders above everybody else, and that's Allen, your 2-time defending 5A state champs, continuing to roll with Kyler Murray. They look just really impressive now. Their defense has kind of figured things out. Once they've hit district play, they've played pretty well. We'll see how they do against Soso Jamambo next week. Apart from them, how about Skyline? Skyline, of course, in a district that, they're not really going to be challenged there, but they did beat Cedar Hill at home earlier in the year, and that win really looks impressive now after Cedar Hill's performance against DeSoto.
Thanks, Corbett, the Prive of Banquetti High. Check out his show with David Newberry of 1310 The Ticket as simulcast the radio show on Sports Day HS at 11 o'clock on Fox Sports Southwest. And now we welcome in a special guest whose team got the biggest win of the weekend. It's Cedar Hill coach Joey McGuire joining us on the phone. And Coach McGuire, congratulations on your big win. Tell us, what did you learn about your team this week with this huge win over DeSoto?
Well, thanks for having me. It's great to be on with you guys. I thought that we had an incredible week at practice. What I learned from our team is whenever it is a big game, that we're going to have a great week of practice. I told them whenever we're going into the game, I wish we were playing DeSoto every week. I really don't want to play DeSoto every week, but I want that kind of concentration coming out of practice going into the game.
Hey, this DeMarcus Lodge kid, he's something special. Very difficult for him to have big games. There's a huge target on his back. He's, quite frankly, probably the best athlete in the state of Texas, maybe in the country. How have you been able to keep him grounded? Because this kid just is a great football player.
Well, it's really easy because, he puts the team before himself. I always tell him with him and Aka Cedric Ware, they're their best friends. I mean, because you can't sit there and double DeMarcus Lodge. If you do, we're good enough up front in the offensive line that Aka Cedric's going to go off in the running game. And then whenever you roll a safety down in the box, you go one-on-one with DeMarcus Lodge, and we feel like that we're fixing our fight song and we're going to crank up the band. And we were able to do that last night. We'd be able to do it. The only team we haven't been able to do it on, I heard Corbin earlier talk about Skyline. They're really the only team that's been able to hold DeMarcus at check or in check at different times.
Joe, you're walking around with a lot of state championship bling. I'll never get your first title with William Cole. Last year, you've been in back-to-back state championship games. Compare this team to those other state title teams. Do you think you have something even more special with these guys?
Well, it's hard as far as balance-wise offensively. It's hard to look at this team and compare it to any other teams, I think this is the most balanced we've ever been on offense. We can do a lot of different things. We've got a great quarterback in Justin McMillan, and he's gotten a lot faster, a lot stronger. He can beat you with his arm and his legs. Where we've started to really grow and chemistry started to come together is the defense. I mean, we've played really good at different times at halves, and we're starting to put complete games together. And if those guys led by Richard Moore and Daryl Miller, if they really come on, then I think we've got a shot, you know. And the thing, I think we put so much pressure on people on the offense side of the ball. If we'll just continue to grow as a team, then we're going to have a shot.
Great stuff, Joey. Thanks for joining us. Always entertaining. Great television. Really appreciate it. Good luck down the line. I'm sure we're going to see you back there at AT&T Stadium. Coming up next, the Ford Watch List, East Texas. What's going on in Fort Bend with Elkins in H-Town? The crazy world of 25-5A, Craigway, Austin, and more after this.
High School Scoreboard Live is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now for great deals during the Built Ford Tough Sales event. By DQ, the stop sign of Texas. For the best treats, eats, and drinks in Texas. Stop at DQ. And by State Farm. Visit texas.statefarm.com to get to a better state.
On for the most prestigious honor in high school sports. Newton's quarterback, big win tonight. Roni Elam is Texas A&M bound as a cornerback, not quarterback. Both Manny Harris and Matthew Guidry are taking their talents to UTSA. U the Manny is a great dual-threat quarterback. Jimmy Wilkins has Frisco Wakeland playoff bound, just one loss. And DeSoto stud runner Jatori Sparks Brown is headed to San Diego State. Make sure you nominate your favorite player at playeroftheweek.com based on performances on and off the field. Tap, take us to San Antonio. Actually, we're going to go to East Texas, my man.
Let's go East Texas.
John Tyler looking to bounce back after that loss to Ennis up against Corsicana. And it's Keyshawn Kelly throwing this one deep, intercepted by Jordan Owens, who's Owens something. He will take it Corsicana territory. That would set up running back Jeremy Wilson with a handoff, and he will make a couple of the would-be defenders miss on the way to the end zone. John Tyler goes on to win big. They needed it, 33-3.
Some wacky football being played in East Texas. Mount Pleasant and Longview, Lobo senior Sean Lloyd with the interception. And here, he fumbles the ball on the return, and then he picks it up and manages to score virtually untouched touchdown Lobos. You think that was crazy? Watch this one. Shades of Auburn, Oregon. He's down, right? He's not down. It's Longview running back Tylen Miller. But watch this. No, young man. You better get in that end zone. Get in the end zone. Touchdown Longview. He gets up. He is not on the ground. They roll on to win 63-6.
That is absolutely crazy. Well, 7th-ranked Ennis might be the most dangerous team at Class 5A. Hear me out on this. The Lions opened up 0-2, but they lost to heavyweights Mansfield Timberview and back-to-back state champion Denton Guyer, who's pretty good. Tonight, Ennis had their hands full with Lufkin tonight. After rattling off a 5-game winning streak to the pride of Lufkin High, Des Bryant of the Cowboys throwing up the X, watching the X's and O's of these highlights. Devin Smith keeps it, and he's going to take it 66 whopping yards to the house for the touchdown, and Ennis is in business. Then more Q Smith to a wide-open Thompson. In the end zone, that's a 25-yard strike. But Lufkin would answer as they look up to the clouds above. Ian Nichols runs it right up the middle, and that'll go for 50 yards. But in the end, Ennis would escape the shootout, 55-48 there. Stunner in Houston, Fort Bend Elkins runs into a wall. The last 2 weeks, a stampede of Buffaloes from Marshall tonight. Jonathan Childs, he's a great quarterback. Look at this bomb to the X-Man, Xavier Barnes. Nice catch in the end zone. Game is tied at 14. Then Marshall will get back in it, and they fought hard in this one. Jeremy Smith rolling, and flying. Oh, Chuckawaldalo. I'll just call him Chucky. Tough name. That's the best I can do. Sorry, my man. But it's a touchdown. We showed it. Buffalo leads it 21-14 at the half. Elkins ties it to 21, and they win it in double overtime, 42-35.
If you're a fan of Fox Football Friday, powered by DCTF, 7 to 11 p.m. on Fox Sports Southwest, you hear us talk a lot about two different districts in 5A. 16-5A, the crazy district with Lufkin and Ennis and all those great teams. and then 25-5A down in the capital city of Austin. And things just got crazier tonight. If you're Cedar Park Vista Ridge, you're the only unbeaten team, right? Things are looking good. History says that does not bode well for you in 25-5A. Vista Ridge taking on Georgetown tonight, a preseason favorite. We take you to the second quarter. Vista Ridge up 7-6. Georgetown quarterback Ben Bottlinger on the quarterback keeper runs it into the score. Georgetown retakes the lead. Later in the second quarter, Vista Ridge running back Isaiah Valier, watch him break tackles.
Oh.
Watch him get going.
Oh.
Watch him evade defenders. And guess what? I hate to spoil the highlight for you. He's going to score a touchdown. That's right, 75-yard touchdown run, Isaiah Valier. But Georgetown would take a 23-14 lead into half. Then third quarter, Bottlinger, quarterback keeper again, up the middle, scores a touchdown. Georgetown hands Cedar Park Vista Ridge their first loss of the year, 50-42. Meanwhile, let's stay in Austin. Elgin and Hutto. The Hippos are 6-1, but that one loss may say more about them than their 6 wins. First drive, Hutto's Tyler Herrick, 58-yard touchdown pass. Davion Davis. Stroll into the end zone, young man. Take your time. 7-0 Hippos. Then second drive for Hutto, more of the same. Herrick to Davis. Make a man miss. That's very unfair. Go back and help that man up. You juked him pretty bad. Elgin wins 21-17.
All right, let's roll out the Class 5A top 10 here, Tep. The usual suspects roll tonight as expected. The Temple Wildcats are giving Aledo a run for number 1. And how about Flower Bluff making a major statement as the best team in the Coastal Bend region tonight? A victory over Cal Allen always means something. And what a rally by Fort Bend Elkins, number 2 in the state a couple of weeks ago, and they escaped back-to-back losses with that come-from-behind win in double overtime against Marshall tonight.
Yeah, and they needed it. Not necessarily to get into the playoffs or anything like that. They needed it for confidence. They needed to remind themselves, hey, we're Fort Bend Elkins. We're a darn good football team. We're a force to be reckoned with.
Let's bring in the voice, the ears, the mouth, and everything of Texas Longhorns football. Craig Way, who's in Kansas because of the early Saturday start time with Kansas State. All right, Craigers, thanks for doing this for us. Make sure, make some sense now out of the crazy world of District 15-5A. Just when we thought Vista Ridge was going to run away with things, tonight happens.
Yeah, I think it's just an example of how deep and how balanced that district is. Consider now, Vista Ridge has 1 district loss, okay? Then you have Georgetown with 2 district losses, Cedar Park with 2 district losses. In addition to that, Vandergrift with a couple of losses. Eastview has 1 loss, but Eastview will probably go Division 2, and you'd see Vista Ridge going Division 1. Vandergrift would probably go Division 1, depending on what happened with the other breakdown in Division 2, but you'd probably see Cedar Park go Division 2 if they get in. But, of course, Cedar Park and Vista Ridge beat it week 10. Does that figure it out for you?
Yeah, that's it's clear as mud about as good as we're going to get. Craig, let's stay in the Austin area, and tonight Lake Travis gets a big win over Austin Westlake. This LT team is starting to look like vintage LT teams. The games that the kind of team that won 5 straight titles. Do you think this LT team is for real? Are they another title contender?
Yeah, I do think they are, Cap. And I think what they did was they proved that they could win the game, continuing with some really tough clamp down defense. And it took a little while for the offense to get going because give Westlake credit. They had a 7-3 lead until the waning seconds of the first half there when Lake Travis scores to take the lead at half, and then they just kind of methodically put a stranglehold on Westlake. What you're probably looking there at is that Lake Travis and Westlake both winding up going the Division 2 route, assuming Del Valle and Bowie go the Division 1 route, and then you'd have one heck of a bi-district matchup in Division 2 between Hendricks and Westlake. If it turns out that'd be a rematch of last year where Westlake surprised them in round number 1.
Wow, that would be amazing. Thanks, Craig. See you in the studio next week. By the way, Tep is dressed up like you for Halloween, and it is a good look, I might add. All right, let's take a break. Coming up next, Arlington Martin put on a show in a doubleheader at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. 86 points, and they barely threw the ball. Plus, defending champ Cisco in Class 3A after this.
At Cowboy Stadium for Arlington Martin, which try to make sense of that. Arlington Martin taking on Fort Worth Pascal, and the Mums are out in force tonight, and it was all Martin in this one. Here's Nick Smith. He's taking the handoff, and I got to tell you, he's probably going to score. Look at that big block he gets.
He's jogging.
And you know what? We did not speed up the highlight. He's actually running that fast. Touchdown, Martin. There'll be a lot of that. This has to be a record for the shortest punt return. Watch this. kudos to the Pascal punter for getting it off, but Josh Watson picks it up and walks in for a 10-yard punt return touchdown. After a Pascal touchdown, Jason Huntley, with the help of one big spin move here, whoop, and he is gone 80 yards of the touchdown.
He didn't even touch him.
86-21 Martin all over Pascal tonight.
In game number 2, the Arlington Colts and the Bowie Volunteers facing off at Cowboys AT&T Stadium. Third quarter, Bowie up 21-17. Hunter Collins with a bullet pass here to Mason Shaw. Makes the catch, the touchdown. Colts up 23-21. And then 2 field goals give Bowie the lead back. DeAndre Cook cooking things up here on the handoff, gets into the end zone, and they're up 34-23. Put your helmet on. Can't play the next play. Volunteers need to score quick here in the comeback. Nico Small. Oh, he deflects Tony James's pass there, taking it back for the pick 6, and that would seal the deal. Bowie wins it 41-23. In Corpus Christi, we got King and Carroll going at it. King up 7-0, but Carroll driving. And Noah Lisk in front of a big crowd tonight. On the edge, and he will get in to score. That would tie the game at 7, and the crowd goes wild. Then the handoff to Tristan Price, and the Price is right. He goes straight up the middle. A long touchdown run here. You're not going to catch him. Nice try, though. And King is up 14-7. Then Carroll responds. Jesse Jones, the pass to Andrew Wilson, back in the end zone. That ties it at 14. Back and forth it would go. Carroll with the victory, 26-21. We don't talk about the Corpus Christi area enough, but I got to tell you, Flower Bluff is a team that we have seen quietly make its journey through the playoffs. Who is the most dangerous in that Coastal Bend area, you think?
There's a lot, and that's not something we've been able to say recently, because Corpus Christi, when you go and talk to folks down there in the shining city by the sea, where high school football power is, it's Cal Allen, and that's the start and the end of the conversation. Now, it's super deep. You saw 2 teams in King and Carroll that I think can make deep playoff runs. That's not to mention the best team in Corpus Christi, which is Flower Bluff. Got a big win over Cal Allen tonight. I'll tell you why they're dangerous. Defense. Defensive back Jalen Campbell and company are dangerous. They can beat anybody in the playoffs, and I mean anybody.
Tep, let's take a timeout. Coming up next, we will check on the Battle of the Kleins as David Smith's Oakleys are battling for playoff positioning in that tough 18 Houston district. Plus, the Ford winners and much more after this short timeout. Walls, Chris Warren ran at 12 yards a pop on a 300-yard night in his winning night, spitting image of his world-famous NFL dad by the same name. A&M bound Larry Pryor takes the prize in 5A. Salina's Nathan Elliott, a valiant return after a separated shoulder. He's also got a 3.8 GPA. Lone Oak's Devin Shaw ran for 311 yards and 5 touchdowns. Regional finalists on the relay team and a regional power lifter. Rashad Williams of West Sabine in Class 2A. This kid can play. He's a 4-sport superstar. Reigning district MVP in football. And Sammy Vituli of Houston St. Pius X. He leads the state in over 1,300 yards receiving and 16 touchdowns, 27 yards a catch. Back to the greater Houston area and the duel of Kleins. Coach David Smith's a genius. Patty Smith works for us. She told me to say that. How he always has Klein Oak, though, in playoff conversations, doesn't he? This year in an 8-team district, towing the line with Montgomery and Spring for a playoff spot. By the way, the Oakleys, they play those 2 the next 2 weeks. So a must-win against Klein High tonight. Some razzle-dazzle in this one. We pick it up in the second quarter. Klein with some trickery. Check out the reverse here. And then the pitch back to a wide-open Abraham Sosa. And say it ain't Sosa. He's out at the 1. So 2 plays later, Klein looking to punch it in, but it's fumbled by Nigel King. For not the moment. Scooped up here. King will take it to the house, returning it 99 whopping yards. 10-0 Klein Oak. They go on to win a big one, 33-14. If the season ended today, Klein Oak would be in the playoffs. Still some work to do here. Brandon Blair with flair got the start for the Panthers. He led them to the win, and Jeff Power talked to the youngster after the game.
Yeah, Brandon Blair joining us now, and I understand you found out this morning basically that you were going to get the start. Give me your thoughts about that, because that was a last-second decision.
Yes, sir. You know, in practice, we just prepare all week and prepare. So when the job comes, no matter what happens, we're ready.
Now, Brandon's only a sophomore. Talk about stepping up big. This is a huge win for you guys. You keep the playoff hopes alive. You haven't been there since 2011.
Yes,
your thoughts about the way you performed?
You know, I just went with coach's plan and I executed, and it just worked. It worked out sometimes. Sometimes it didn't, but we came back.
The first series, you look